I'm gonna start recording just so I can get this
Oh,
going.
okay.
Um, so what happens is a lot of times in our yes, you have to have marketing to make your business work, right? And in a business like yours, you're going to have both a combination of traditional and some online, but it's going to be a little bit different than say Rohit, which is primarily online, almost
Right.
all online with some word of mouth. But his is going to be it's going to scale based upon online. My business has been primarily relationship based because I've built a lot of relationships over a period of time. And I'm now shifting some of the stuff to really scale it. If I want to build a multi-million-dollar company, it's got to be built upon international stuff. Even though I've had clients internationally, it's come through referrals, right?
Right.
Um, and in the nature of your business, I will tell you right now that direct mail in the last 3 years has had the largest conversion it's ever seen.
Because people aren't getting out. That's funny.
People aren't getting out, but more importantly, people are home.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People are home.
People are home. Think about how much
And
mail.
people don't want to leave home. So people are staying home. So it probably won't be as good, but people are fighting to stay home now that they're home and they're with their family. And the ones who really decided they like their family, they don't want to leave.
Exactly. So we're in this hybrid conundrum, so to speak. There are some companies that are saying either you're back at the office with this date or you're out. Okay.
Right.
There's all sorts of levels. I've had to talk to some companies about this where, hey, we have, let's say, Jennifer's been great, online, blah, blah. But do I promote her, which means she has to come into the office? A, does she want to do that? And if she does, I've never seen her interact with people. I have no idea how this person interacts with people.
Right. In person.
Quite frankly, I've never seen Jennifer from other than the shoulders up. Jennifer could be half cyborg for all I know, even though Jennifer's worked for me for 2 years. I don't know if Jennifer has legs,
Right.
So,
Well, there's from the health stuff, I would have a background, I would have messages in the background, right? So I'd always make myself small. So I'm always like sitting back from my computer. I got a cat sitting behind me. I'd scoot back, and I'd be small in the picture and it'd bug me and say, don't eat crap or whatever. Right. And so then I meet people in person I've never met. They're like, you're a lot bigger than I thought. And I go, well, I want people to see my message.
yeah, and and the thing comes down to it. There are so many, and it's gotten worse instead of better. There are so many marketing tactics that are being positioned as strategies. They're not strategies, they're tactics. And there's a big difference. And
Sure.
what a lot of people are doing is that my strategy is a swath of tactics with no, I'm like, no, that's just grabbing a bunch of rocks. It's like shooting with a shotgun,
Right.
if you get enough room and you got the right barrel, it'll spray. You may not kill anything, but you'll wound a lot of stuff, and eventually something will fall. And you're like, hey, I got a duck.
Well, here you go. So here's the spray, right? So I'll go on to Nextdoor and I'll post, hey, I have some available time tomorrow afternoon, right? Last night I was scrolling through Facebook. Somebody's looking for a handyman on Facebook, and somebody goes, "Oh, Michael Geese. You should get a hold of him. Do you have his phone number?" No. And I'm like, "That's hysterical." Now, she did have a tell, which is kind of I don't know if I really want to what I did is I Facebook messaged her. Part of it is because I have a phone issue going on right now, but part of it too is she posted her phone number on there, so whoever the handyman is going to be can call her. And it's one of those things that scares you when you've been around enough, because the people that want you to call them to initiate, I think it takes control away from you in the situation and in getting things done, and they tend to like be more bearing, and it's harder to get work done for them. If that makes sense.
No, explain that.
Um,
First of
it's
all,
if you talk to most people in construction, they all kind of know this. It's if somebody says, "Here's my phone number, call me, I have work for you," you don't call, because it's part of it is I think it's a power play. As I got older, I think the power play on their end, like, you should call me because I have work for you. And part of it, which is in a sense, yes, but in a sense too, is you go over there and then they start complaining about your price and this and that and da da da, and you're just like, this wasn't worth it.
okay, look, you know what? I'm going to address that. I want to get to our topic, but I want to address it because it's going to be good for any of us whenever you're out meeting. So this is something I teach people a lot. Most people don't know how to, what I call, properly posture them. There's not proper posturing in a conversation.
Right.
and they either go too far or too little. Either they're borderline narcissistic, arrogant as hell, or they're kind of a limp noodle. They're just kind of just going wherever the conversation takes them. Remember this, number one, whoever is asking the questions controls the conversation. Right? Get really good at asking questions. There's a book, I think it was, God, it's been around for decades. My dad had me read it years ago. I think Questions Are the Answers, I believe, by Les Giblin. Don't quote me on the author, but I think that's what it is. Questions Are the Answers. Really, really good to do that. Like when I'm listening to people doing interviews, I listen to the questions they're asking. Everyone's listening to the answer, somebody else. I'm listening to the questions.
Right.
What kind of question? Oh, that's a good question. And the greatest thing you can do when you're in any sort of, I don't care if it's face-to-face here or in a networking situation, is to walk away where they know very little about you, but you've asked so many questions about them and you know so much about them. You know what do you think they're going to feel good and different, or,
People love to talk about themselves.
absolutely. Right.
Number WIFM. What's in it?
Give them the opportunity to do that. And write this down. This is a writer downer. Okay. When you connect with someone, go out to be impressed, not to impress.
Sure.
Okay. In that mindset, you will actually impress them more by asking them questions and getting to know them and getting to know their business, letting them talk about themselves because they're feeling great. Like, wow, that Rohan guy, man, I talked to him for like 10, 15 minutes. He's the greatest guy. What does he do? You know what? I'm not sure. Something with this, but no, he's a really good guy. You should call him. I have literally gotten business that way because they're like, I don't know. I think he helps businesses or something, but he's really good. Like he already gave me some great things for me to think about. And the things were because I was just asking him questions. Like, and then, so let's get to your point. Inevitably, your marketing, your messaging to get to the point where, how is it where you can, the other part is, we all need clients. You don't need any one client.
Right.
Okay. So like I said, the power of saying no. So in that situation, like what you just brought up, Michael, is, by the way, do you go by Mike or Michael?
I've answered to asshole.
Okay, well.
I worked in the trades, man. You can call me anything. Don't come late for dinner.
I used to say that when I took over, like when I would take over an office or lead some, a change management thing. I say, all right, listen, some of you are not, the goal is here. We want to, work hard, have fun, but there's going to be a point where we're going to disagree and I'm going to tick you off. More than likely, it is not intentional. If it is intentional, I'll tell you. Okay. And there's a reason for it. And if you think I'm an SOB or, want to call them an a-hole, that's fine. But I will give you that opportunity to me personally. Because if you say it, I will still hear it. It'll just come back around to me a different direction, probably with a few other things on it that you didn't say. That's it. So listen, if you want to come and say, hey, I'm an SOB, that's great. At least I know the foundation we're starting from. We can only go up from there. Is that fair? I'll give you the door to come say that to me. I'm all right with that. Just help me understand, why do you feel that way? All right. Get to your point. So I want to stay on point here. So when you're in that situation, here, give me a call. One of the questions that there's a series of questions you can ask. Say, hey, Ruthan, I'm kind of interested. Why don't you give me a call someday? Okay. Are you curious or are you sincerely interested in talking? Yeah. Or are you curious or do you actually have something I could help you with?
Right.
It'll right size them real quick.
Nice. That's yeah.
All right. And say, if you're curious, I say, obviously we're quite busy. Do you have work right now that I can help you with? And who have you typically used in the past? Right. Why aren't you using them anymore?
Right.
Okay. What are those that you work in the past? Well, if they did a good job, why would you not call them again? Listen, I'm not trying to give away business, but I would want my clients to call me back, and there's a reason they're not. I'd like to know why.
Right.
You see the difference. You're coming in, you're posturing yourself as you're a busy business owner, that you're asking them why, and they're like, oh, this guy's serious. This is how you separate yourself from everybody else. I don't care if it's like, listen, I love to travel. It's just too expensive. It's like, If there was a way that you could travel more frequently without it costing you more money, would you like to know about it? It's like, well, what do you say? Yeah, I didn't really mention this, but it's kind of funny you bring that up. I actually own a company that teaches people how to solve that problem. Now, guys, that line right there could be used in any one of our businesses. But if you don't give the chance to start, because they're not going to listen to you till they know, like, or trust you. We've all heard that people don't care what you know until they know that you care.
Right.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. And well, both of you, prior to you guys joining my program, I didn't do business with either of you guys.
Right.
I just got to call you. Got to ask some questions. Got to find out what you guys are about. And here's the other thing. I'm interviewing you as more than you're interviewing me. That's the way I look at it. I am a business owner. I'm not a salesman yes, I am a salesman for my company, but I also know what to say no to.
Right.
Full disclosure, I've had a number of people that wanted to join this program and I've said no to them because I just don't think they're right. And I'd rather have 2, 3, 5, 10 over time than have 10 people right away, disruptive all over the place. No one's getting any traction. No one's doing anything. And it doesn't help anybody because I don't need it. We all need clients. I don't need that client, right? My company, the results I want to bring for my clients, my commitment to my clients is greater than any one person's revenue. Okay.
Right.
So make sure your reputation is freaking priceless. It takes a lot to build it today. It takes very little to freaking crash it down. I mean, I was watching a little bit of the Chris Rock special, his stand up on Netflix, and he's like, says, it used to be hard work for you to get a little bit ahead. He goes, now you can just say somebody say, I don't like the way they made me feel. Next thing you know, you got their job. He's kind of joking about this kind of stuff. I mean, he said it a little more colorfully, but I am recording this. So, so let's keep that in mind. So when you're going in there, you're talking to anybody, even when you're having an initial consultation with somebody, make sure you ask them questions. You can be friendly. You can call somebody an SOB to their face and actually mean it. But if you say it with a smile on their face, they're like, I'm like, you're a real SOB, man. Now they think I'm just joking. I'm actually thinking, you're a real SOB. But if I say it with a smile on my face, oh man, he's crazy. I'm walking away. I'm like, I'll never work with that sucker. But you know what? Again, if your life is about building relationships, there's a lot of people. A guy yesterday I met at this event last week, and I thought I got him mixed up with somebody. I normally would not end up taking this call. He's a banker, a business banker, whatever. And there's got to get those people calling me all the time. And I'm listening to him. And of course, he was sharing a lot about what he was with me. And at one point I realized, okay, this guy he's a window at best for me. I don't even think he has that much, like 5 different banks in like 7 years, 10 years, 5 different banks. Now that's not uncommon in the banking industry, but that many in that period of time. So I'm sitting here thinking, finally, I started pitching, here's what I do. I'm just throwing it up because I'm like, I'm going to end this conversation. But at the end, of course, I always ask, so, you reached out, what is it that I can help you do? Now I share some ways I could actually help him build his business, some connections I could do. I could do some seminars for him, whatnot. I said, I wouldn't even charge you for. There's things I can do. Oh man, that'd be awesome. So he goes, hey, I'd love to introduce to 5 or 10 of your, key people, key business owners. And I also told him, I don't let people into my network right away. I built trust, as you should not let me into your network right away unless we get to know each other a little bit. No one gets right into my network. Immediately comes for 5 or 10 people. Can you make introductions? And no, it's not going to happen. Dude, I don't know who you are. And if you're that desperate, hit me up that fast. But that's what most of your messaging will be looking like online. That's what most of your conversations will go to too quickly.
Right.
2 good conversations. Sometimes people get impatient. And I want you, and when I was reading over some of your guys' stuff, they think of scaling too fast because it's kind of like that. But people want that right away. But it's kind of like this, you know what I mean?
Well, if you ever flown an airplane, you can take off pretty early, but you don't have a whole lot of speed, so you climb really slow. Or you can get off the ground a little bit and you can get the ground, they call it ground effect. It's a layman's term. and you can pick up some serious speed, and you can legitimately go vertical
Yeah,
in a
I've done
small
that.
plane, and then catch out, and you know,
Yeah, that's
through the
awesome.
vertical, you got to re-catch yourself, and then it takes a while to rebuild speed and go. But
So using that analogy, anyone who's flown in any sort of mountainous area understands that one. Get up on the ridge. So all right. So one of the things that I think is important, I want to touch on a few things, and I'm going to open up for some Q&A. I wanted to really focus on, and it's going to be part of your kind of weekly growth activity this week. And again, the sooner you guys, Rohit, you were great with that, getting that to me. I appreciate that. You guys both saw that the Slack piece. I'm switching it over there because the reality is, I did find out it isn't always, they wouldn't give me a definitive, no, we'll never take any private information out of use Facebook. So I'm not going to mess with that. I'm going to stay out of it because I don't trust Facebook, quite frankly. It's one of those.
Nothing to trust about them.
Yeah. So the Slack channel, I want to quickly show that to you guys. Let me pull that up for a minute here and get to that. All right, accept the invitation, join us. Take a second. Okay, got your stuff. All right, so I'm going to show you here is in the Slack channel. Give me 1 second, share my screen. Okay, you guys see it here?
Yep.
Okay, so obviously I have other stuff going on, a few different ones over here, but these two channels here, growth activities and the help channel, you both have been invited to that. Okay, you both should have that in your Slack underneath New Path. You guys both have that? You guys have Slack up? Can you verify that you got that? All right. So basically in this group, your weekly growth activities, this is where I will drop I'm going to drop, like, if there's forms I want to have you guys work on for that week, or if there's, some thoughts to think about, I'm going to drop them there. That's also where you drop your activity back for me to know that it's there. Okay. But when you drop something in there, you need to tag me so I know, because I get notified. Otherwise, it could sit there for a day or two, because we're all busy. All you do is just @sign. And then, like, for example, I could do, see, roll that pops up. See how that comes up? You just do the same thing for me. If you want to message somebody else, I can do you both, right? I can do Michael.
Oh, I know I gotta do. Hold on a second. I'm trying to bring up the Slack thing and not showing up, and I'm wondering if it's leaving it on the monitor because the monitor's plugged in. There we go. There it is.
All right. So bottom line,
channel and growth activities. Got it. Okay.
All right. And just so you know, as we grow, how I'm going to kind of work this as the numbers grow up, I can manage it now a little bit, but I'll keep everybody muted when I'm going through stuff so we don't go back and forth too much. And then I'll open up for questions one at a time as we go along, just to make sure we get through everything. But on this one here, so you got, that's how you do it. So that way, if I put something in here, you're going to get notified. Now it'll be in there. If I were to open it up and happen to look, it would be in there. I would see that would be a message. But this right here, for example, this is a different group. See, all right, now on here, yep, add John. See how that it came up? It was red originally. Like right now, these are two things in here that were actually I am tagged in. So I know that I'm tagged on that. If it was not red, I would know that it was just, there is somebody posted something. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. Now there is an @everyone. I don't want you using that. Okay.
Everyone. It's one thing. Like, I'm going to things that says you've been tagged, and you and other people have been tagged. Yep, skipping that.
Now, I have a different feeling on that. If you're in my private group, and if I'm tagging something, if I'm adding something, and I'm tagging everybody on it because I think it's valuable to everyone. If you don't like, if you're annoyed, get out of my group. I'm like on my Facebook group, not the private clients, but but if you're in my Facebook group, you don't like it, leave.
Yeah. Well, I get it from I'm in 10 Jeep pages and something in Jeep, those things. I'm just like, dude, I'm on your page for fun.
Yeah.
I have to know everything.
So my point is, I want you guys to be aware of that. Okay. And that's where I want to do stuff going. I can add some other ones. You can see I have other channels and different projects. This is just mine. You won't see these because these are my channels here, but this is a good one here because that way you can tag it. I know what's going on. We can keep a running history of it. You'll see comments to it. I can do a quick video reply if I need to, a short one there. Obviously text, you can knock that stuff out. Download it on your phone. You got the Slack app. It's free, so none of this costs you anything, which is great. So I would, this is how I want you guys moving forward to kind of communicate everything on there. Cool. All
Cool.
right. All right. So let me close. Let me stop sharing. Where the hell's there it is. All right. You know what? Whenever I share things on this computer, only on my Mac, it like moves it to, it keeps moving screens. I got to keep dragging where my camera is. All right. So the other thing I want to show you is I want to talk to you about, it's going to be, there's two things. One is, I'm going to probably circle back to this again next week because it's so critical, which is your, what I call powerful positioning statement, also been called a core unique positioning statement, been called a market dominating position, however you want to call it. It is that unique messaging that absolutely stands out to the people that you're talking to. Now, we both talked on this a little bit, and it was interesting to see some of your responses on what you think. I can tell you think you know what your clients are looking for based upon a couple little bit of feedback or some generalities. All right. Now, what you can do is when you have really a well-established business and you go out, and depending on how good your network is, when you ask them this one question, if I could help you generate one result and only one result in your business in the next year, what would it be? That's what I would ask. Okay. You can ask that if you're a coach, consultant, or a lot of other types of businesses. You can do this for your target. Say, listen, if I could help you generate one result and only one result in regards to your upcoming travel needs or desires, what would that be? If I could help you generate one result and only result when it comes to repairs and improvements in your home, what would that be? Let them tell you.
Okay. So I had an inbound lead come in yesterday because I know you asked me to post on my profile and in some groups, which I'm going to do later today. But I had an inbound lead come in yesterday, and I actually asked him that exact same question. And it's kind of crazy because like when he articulated himself, it like bought him in even more. And I'm like, yeah, I can help you with that. Let's get on a call. And I booked him for Thursday.
See, let them tell you what they want. What most people end up doing is they have an idea, they have a passion around something. You know, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to have a passion. That passion fades usually pretty quick because they realize there's a business around it, and they don't know how to run a business. Yet they create a product, a service, a program, a class, or whatever. Then they go out and try to find people to buy it, and yet it's not worded. And we all start with who we're connected to and who we know. And yet we don't go to them and yet them tell us what they're looking for, which could be sometimes very different than what I thought I was going to put together. Now, I've done this wrong, by the way. I've created an entire 8-week session. I spent about, I don't know, $7,000 or $8,000 putting this whole thing together. And I got hardly anyone to sign up. It was an absolute bust. Absolute bust. Because the reality was when I went back and asked that question, it was only like 2 of the modules out of the 8 I created were of interest to them. And then how I was marketing it was wrong. I wasn't speaking to what my audience wanted. I was going to try to. So in turn, what am I doing? I'm selling. You see the difference? So you want to go out, and we are all consultants. If you in a relationship, you're a consultant. Okay. I'm always asking probing questions of my wife, gauging her reaction. Okay. Is this going to be a positive response or a negative response? Okay. Do I have to backpedal? Right. But it's true with this too. So one of the ways, once you get that information, which is key, that's one of the things I like you guys to do, is go to your audience, phrase it, but make it generic, make it one result. Remember how I've said this last week, a confused mind doesn't buy.
Right.
We come in and offer them, well, I can do anything. I can fix toilets. I can do roofs. I can do this. I can do that. I can do this. And a lot of times when I'm talking to someone, it's like, you know, have you hired handy people in the past? What's been your experience? And they'll tell you, say, what did you have them do? Did you have to have it redone? Okay. Have you used that person again a second time? You know,
right.
Is that your go-to? Say, and I would imagine, you know, say, you know, I've heard this a lot. Is this true with you? A lot of people now, they're working from home. They're sitting around, like they're actually looking around the house or looking around stuff like, you know, that like you said on your form, that drawer's loose, or this thing's loose, or maybe that's not lined up, or maybe it's time to, we really need to paint these cabinets, instead, or we got to replace, those kind of things. Have you ever found yourself doing that too? Yeah. So you're just asking questions to get to a point and say, is this in your, do you guys have any plans in the next year to make some improvements? Oh, what are they? Okay, great. Well, if you ever like some help with that, let me know. You can get to that conversation if you want to. My point is, even on the travel piece, what did I just hear? Hyatt just made a big change yesterday, was announced. I think it's good for like another month or two, but they're like significantly worsening their point ratios. So I see, of course, now keep in mind, that would not have been as aha moment for me had you not been one of my clients, because my reticulating activator kicked in, because I'm like, whoop, that's because now I'm looking for it. Kind of like, wow, I didn't know how many Lexus GS400s were on the road until I had one. Freaking cars were everywhere. No, they weren't. They're the same amount of cars were out there before. I wasn't wired into it. So you're looking at that. That is a good thing to look into. Great weekly post. Okay. Finding out details on that. It could be, hey, Marriott's got this going on. Or, hey, did you hear about this? I mean, you could literally schedule out 52 weekly videos. You could sit down in one day, shoot 1 to 3 minutes. That's it. 1 to 3 minutes. You don't need fancy intros and outros and all this other crap. I'm telling you, you don't really need it. And just get that out there to start building an audience and tagging people. And then you might look into other groups. Say, hey, listen, I'm looking for this. And you see somebody in another travel group that says, blah, blah, and you comment to their comment, say, hey, a really interesting thing. I just wrote an article about that, or just shot a video on that. I think you might be helpful to you. And then redirect them to your group, to where it's posted on your group in your video. Now, by the way, you also want to have that, if you have that saved in YouTube. Okay, because you want to start having that piece. There's a lot of little things you can go nuts on this stuff, and you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars a month doing this stuff, and you don't need to. And most people will come in like, I will do SEO for $5,000 a month. Get the fuck, no.
So I actually had a plan, and I had a bunch of content kind of saved up that I was going to record as reels, because I get a lot of inbound on Instagram, and I was going to actually tomorrow I was going to sit down and just record like 20 of them, spend the week editing them, and then just kind of drip them out over the next couple of weeks or so, because they can post those on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
I have a suggestion that if you want somebody to do that for you and start operating like a company right away, the girl that does my stuff, she's awesome. She loves it. She's ridiculously inexpensive, like crazy inexpensive. She's in South Africa, but I don't think the woman sleeps. Seriously, she just so all my English. I don't post
her English.
Yeah, and it's English too, so which is great. Yeah. I don't post any of my own stuff very often. The stuff you see, she posts. She creates it all. She does the memes, she uploads it for me to look at. And full disclosure, half the time I don't even look at it. She's got an idea what I want to do. She knows where we've changed it. We've tweaked it over time, but she posts every day. Now, if I go live, I do. And even there's times where I'll just turn on my camera like this and I'll just start recording. And I'll say, here you go. There's got to be like 30 points in there. Edit them out, clip them up, shoot them out.
Yeah, because that was legitimately the first thing I wanted to outsource. It's just content creation.
I'll get you Christy's contact information. Because I did ask her.
Is Christy your other admin?
What's that?
That's Christy your other admin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I was like, John has a partner?
Yeah, no, Christy's great. And I've tried probably 3 or 4 other people, and they were atrocious. And they were charging a hell of a lot more. I mean, there are people right now that are charging $1,500 to $5,000 a month just for this, which I think is bonkers.
Can I ask how much she charges?
Yeah, I'm getting a hell of a deal right now. I don't know what her current rates are.
Okay.
It's below $500 a month.
Oh, no way.
5 freaking days a week on 3 platforms.
Okay. And she doesn't do the video editing. She just posts it.
No, well, she's doing that for me. I can't say she'll do that for everybody else. I mean, because I refer her some other business and she's awesome, and I connect anyway. But no, when I'll send her a raw 50-minute video. And I'll say, and I'll pause. I'll say, all right, Christy, stop. I'll wait a few minutes. All right, Chris, I'm going live. Boom, and I'll start talking. So I give her that pause so she knows where to edit it.
Okay.
And there's, to her credit, there's a lot of times like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Christy, delete the last 3 minutes that I just talked. I don't like any of that. All right, I'm going to start over. Just keep going. I just keep going. She just listens to it. You know how much time that would freaking take for me to? I have every freaking video. I have Camtasia. I've got full creative crowd suite. I've got all sorts of stuff. I've got ones where you can just put your voice in. I'm not going to do Synthesia. That just gets weird. You know, some of these, virtual real people like AI stuff. That's just weird to me. They want to see you. So I'll get you that connection to Christy. All right. So staying on topic here. I want you in your goals. This is a marathon, right? You're both at a point right now where you're known-ish, kind of, sort of, but not really yet, which is a good place to be. This allows you to test some messaging because the impact isn't all that big of a deal yet. You start to get some, but track your numbers, watch what's coming in. So Instagram for you is huge. Instagram, Facebook are going to be, but bottom line is pick a platform. The good news is if you pick Facebook, you get in Instagram. Like my Facebook stuff goes right to Instagram, right? But Instagram is going to be a huge piece for you because especially in the target market that you're looking for. What I found interesting, Rohit, on your age group piece, I think one thing you have to consider is most people get married by 30. Still, we live in cities where that doesn't happen all the time. Mike, you got married young, didn't you?
No. Well, I was 20. Yeah, I guess I was 26 when I got married. My wife was 28 by then, I guess. A year and a half older.
They're not all like me, 40 when I got married, right? For the first time. But most people are getting married before 30. They're getting remarried again, typically from 38 to 45, if they go through a divorce. So keep in mind in your avatar, I would start looking over time, over when people are joining, people are commenting. Who the heck is it that's really commenting? You might think it's going to be this target market. We start realizing, wow, like I've done this with my coach, Terry. She says, we put this thing out. She goes, I was shocked. I thought I was going to get women of this. I was getting men that this and this. He goes, I didn't think that. And it was interesting. So I started commenting. I started going to some of the people that had commented more than once or twice, said, hey, really appreciate your, tell me a little bit more about yourself. So she DM'd them, started getting some information, starting to get this new avatar, right? So you got some time to figure this out and it's going to shift.
So I'm actually getting a lot of my inbound leads are guys, men, single, 25 to 30-ish who no kids, no partner. They're very focused on building like a personal brand on social media, either for their business or in some cases even for dating. And they want to essentially stay at high-end places, and they want to be able to get that for without paying for it, obviously. And I've actually started to note that was very different than the avatar that I expected.
Yeah. Which doesn't surprise me because I look at the imagery and the messaging and the pictures that you post. That would be what you're attracting.
Yeah.
You're a single guy sitting here by the RS10 or whatever the hell, RS8 or whatever you're sitting by in California. I don't know. You're sitting like where the Audi TT, whatever you're sitting by.
R8, yeah.
Right, yeah, it's R8. Sitting there like this, dude. That's image, lifestyle. That's going to draw into those things. For me, maybe when I was 25, that's why I call myself I'm a recovery imageaholic for my 20s. So there's a time where I was really into that because like, wow. So that's not right or wrong. If that's where you're coming into, understand if you lean into that, there's plenty of people that are in that world. I mean, freaking Facebook and Instagram, it's all about, a lot of times it's a false front. A lot of these influencers driving a, Lamborghini Gallardo, half the time it's not even their car. They're like, they saw it on the street and taking pictures. Oh, that's not even your freaking car. And what they don't see is when the camera goes off, dude, get the hell away from my car. I've seen that happen, So if that is your thing though, and you're looking into, your messaging is going to be key. So which is going to lead me into a tool. I think you guys should put this on your browser. It's called Headline Studio. I'm going to show this to you real quick. It's Co-Schedule is the name of the company, and they have a product called Headline Studio. And in this product, and this is good for both of you. All right, you guys see it? You guys got it? Yes, nod your head, yes. Okay. So what you do is, the goal is you want to put something, because you think about headlines and subheadlines, they've got to be speaking to your audience. And what this program does is also, there's a free version. I pay $100 a year, but you can get a free version of this. You don't have to pay for it. And you put in, so I have something, you want to score like a 70 or higher. If it's green, 70 or higher is what you're shooting for. And what it's looking at, it'll give you a score. For example, I'll click this one here. We help busy owners unlock secrets to more free time and increase profits. All right. That was one of the things I put in. You'll see I ran this thing a whole bunch of different ways. I changed a few words here, there, changed a few words there. And it got different scores depending on add a word, take a word. It'll say here, word count balance. It gives you what you're doing well. It gives you some things, common words. It'll say, hey, you know, it'll give you things like rephrase your headline as a question list or how-to statement. These are things that will stand out to your audience. So when you use their words, see how this works? You ask them what they're looking for, you put it, and then you get a powerful headline, because there's a thing called a conversion equation. It's interrupt. Hang on. Hold on, guys. I apologize. Give me a second. I got 2 high school kids in my parking lot right now that shouldn't be. Apologize. Give me one second. We've been having some issues.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in business for?
Well, I started being a handyman in 1996.
Okay.
Ended up did that in 1996. Did it for a while, and then I actually had 2 crews. I was doing full-on construction by 2008 when everything crashed, and then
Sorry
out of it. It's
No
okay.
worries.
Sorry, I've had this issue with this high school across the street, and we got to call the cops out. And I had to get, I confronted them a few times, and the last time 4 kids, I thought I was talking to 2, and then 2 more showed up, thinking, okay, this is stupid. I am outnumbered. My inner Waukegan can only go so far here, So what I want you to know about this is an absolute tool you should use. And if you're creating some things, you're looking at some headlines you want to post, this could be good on landing pages. When you get to the point, we're going to have a landing page with a video. I'll walk you through a highly converting landing page. It's not what 90% of the people are teaching, because most of the people trying to teach you how to convert and get leads aren't getting leads and aren't converting. They're just not. And they're selling stuff that doesn't work. This is an awesome tool, though. So put it in there. You want to get a 70 or higher. Ideally, 80 or higher is even great, but anything over 70 or higher, it's going to be based upon the number of words. And then you can, type this thing out. If I were to take this out, for example, take out time and profits, reanalyze. Have to score this game. But that's the thing where you play around with this, and you can do it. I think you do like 15 times or something like that per deal that you do it. Okay. So keep that in mind. Great thing to use when you're ready to do some landing pages. Or this is also when you can use when somebody asks you, Sue, what do you do? So what do you do? I help busy business owners unlock secrets to, creating more free time and profits in their business and their life. Oh, well, how do you do that? Subheadline. So the conversion equation is this. And this is what your marketing needs to follow. You do this, your conversion rates will go up probably 5 to 10 times. And most don't do this. They don't know how to do this. It's interrupt. Then you got to engage them. Then you educate them. Then you talk about an offer. What do most people do? Talk about themselves, throw an offer. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So interrupt, blah, blah, blah. Here's what you do. Oh, really? How do you do that? Here's some points about that. If you'd like to have more information, book a call, schedule a time, send me an email. click this link, watch this video, whatever, download this free report. But if you don't have those 4 steps in there, your conversions will be a lot worse. Or the people that will actually start clicking through won't actually, they'll be more tire kickers. They're not actually they're not ready now buyers are really interested. They're just scrolling. And
repeat the 4 steps again.
Interrupt,
Interrupt,
engage,
yep,
educate, and then your offer. Because remember, the messaging is 10 times, 100 times more important than the medium in which you communicate it. And I want you to use this program. So if you're going to do something, hey, put this on a document. Hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's what score I got. I'm like, awesome. Let me take a look at it. If you're getting a 64 or whatnot, I might look at it and say, okay, what are your bullet points you're going to talk about? If you're going to do your quick little video updates, you're going to do your lives, whatever. I will warn you right now, if you start doing Facebook lives, you start doing stuff on Facebook in a group. First of all, it has to be in a group. If you're going to do anything Facebook, it's got to be in a private group. Watch all of their advertising. They don't give a crap. Your personal page, you shouldn't do business on. They are starting to penalize that. This shit's changing constantly. And luckily, I'm connected to some people that are some of the biggest Facebook users. So they tell me stuff that she goes, oh yeah, no, this stuff is changing sometimes weekly. And I'm not in that realm. So I will pass that along and save you guys tens of thousands of dollars to have to be part of those groups. But it is in Facebook groups. That's where they want people to work and live, is in their groups. It's private, it's community, because again, it is a social network. So what you want to have are shares, comments, and then likes in that order. That's what gets rewarded by Facebook. If you are posting a lot of videos, especially lives, and you're getting no one watching it and no one sharing it, they will actually start to penalize you. They will pull you out. They won't even, your own network won't even see your stuff anymore. Wow. Even the people in your group won't see it. That's why, you got to play the game and understand it. And they're constantly changing the rules.
Right.
It's kind of like, but they have so much freaking power, they can get away with this stuff. That's why Instagram, same thing. There's been good and bad going on since they took over Instagram. But if you're going the image piece, you're talking lifestyle piece, going that's going to be a big platform for it. I will also warn you, watch out for TikTok. Purely for your security. TikTok has massive spyware. As soon as you download that to your phone, it's pulled so much information about you, you have no freaking idea. More than
my new phone won't allow TikTok to download. I can't even play the videos off the website in my new phone.
Awesome. Well, my neighbor
saves me a ton of time.
Now, again, people think it sounds like conspiracy. Well, it depends. You can also say, well, our information is out there everywhere. Yeah, but they're using this thing for behavioral modification.
It's in their terms and conditions, so it's not a conspiracy theory.
Yeah. And yet, but to the level that they're doing, there's a reason that it's being brought up around multiple states, the government, everything else, because they've lied about some of the stuff they're getting. They're actually captured. And my neighbor, whose father is a former director of the Secret Service, he goes, oh, don't ever put that shit on your phone. He says, and Terry, who's my coach, who was one of those people that's one of the top 100 Facebook users in the world. She's like, yeah, as soon as she was talking to her friend who works at the DOD, he goes, how long did you, I put on, he goes, take it off. They already have, she goes, John, they spider web through my phone. They found out what bank accounts are, because he took some sort of thing and went into her phone and goes, it was way beyond the terms and conditions of what this app was. It pulled information about me because it started spidering out into all the other apps and figuring out where the hell we are. That's freaking scary. Now, I understand all that. I just know, like, okay, people I know more than me said, don't do it. That's fine. Now, is that a big platform to reach people at right now? For now, yeah. Yeah. For now. You can do it with Instagram.
For me, I'm right now, my focus is very neighborhood. So Nextdoor is great for me right now.
Yep.
I'm getting traction on it. And I haven't even really started what I really want to do, which I'll tell you about whenever you're ready. But yeah.
Yeah. So in essence of time here, because I want to get into this stuff. So I'm going to pause there. What questions let me stop this. So definitely Headline Checkers, or Headline Studio is one of the ones you want to use. My camera again. Always. And then I've got the one thing on the home play I'll touch on right before we wrap up. So first of all, questions of what I talked about here on the conversion equation headline and what we're trying to talk to on asking the question of your target audience.
No, I mean, are you curious or do you have work that needs to be done? You know, and part of my job, and I have to figure out a way to kind of splice that in a way, because part of it is to help people kind of say, yeah, this is what you want to do in that situation, you know, and then might just be, you know, I just have to find a good way to say, hey, look, okay, just a good way of saying, you know, I'm glad to help you answer any questions you need for your house, anything you want to do in your own, whatever. Ask, because people get into traps and then you're the one they call. But at the same time, it's good to know that where they're at, because
you again, you focus on results. Most people, you know, talk about features, they don't talk about benefits,
right?
And messaging. And it could be something, say, what do you do, Mike? Say, I help homeowners save thousands and thousands of dollars a year on unnecessary and improperly done repairs around their home.
I got some super fans the end of last week off of my, I have some time available tomorrow afternoon, and they're super fans because they've had plumbers come and rod their toilet over and over again. And they're like, we're going to buy a new toilet, and it's a Toto toilet, which is like $500 now. We need to get a new Toto toilet. And I'm like, has anybody actually pulled the toilet and like looked in the toilet from the bottom or looked at your plumbing? No, they just ran snakes and they rotted out our sewer line. So nobody actually just visually looked. Yeah. So wait, and they never asked me anything either, because so I'm going through, I'm like, okay, I'm like, okay, well, I found this, and it was like those plus things, you know, when I pull it, and then I'm like, you know, so I take my camera and I sneak it underneath there, kind of tilt it and look under there and go, oh, you got a clump of toilet paper there. And he goes, okay, yeah, and he goes, oh yeah, you know, I tried to rot it myself one time, and the thing broke off in there. And I'm like, oh, you're a plumber now. If you didn't break a rotting line in there, the plumber. Sure enough. Right. So put my needles in there, pull it out. Boom. I saved it. They had licensed plumbers come out there who couldn't fix that for them.
All right. So let's stay on that point, and then I'm going to jump to Rohit too.
Yeah, so now they're permanent friends.
Here's the opportunity there. Now, if you're face to face with them, or here's how you can take the handyman, put the marketer's hat on. What I hear is an opportunity to quick video testimony. Hey, do me a favor. Can you record that? I'm trying to build it's stories like this that help me separate. Do you mind? Can I turn on can you actually say that again? Okay, you catch them off guard, but they'll do that.
Sure. Now, the other side of this I have is plumbing is a licensed thing. So technically what I did was illegal.
Okay, well, maybe then that's not the one you post on Google. But again, maybe you talk about, hey, he helped me, you know, say, instead of doing whatever it is, take these opportunities. And I'll admit, I have to get better at this. I think about them sometimes after the fact. I'm like, damn it, why didn't I record that? Right?
Sure.
I want to do that. Now, Rohit, go back to yours now. What questions did you have? Because we only got a few minutes here. I want to make sure I get time to answer your questions.
Yeah, so I would say, so right now I'm kind of like you said, I'm going back through, I'm talking to my old clients, answering the questions that you sent me. And I'm going through, I'm going to post on my profile and in some groups. I think, I'll be honest, I don't know that I necessarily have enough data to ask any questions on that yet. But I'm just kind of going through those motions right now. I guess my one thing is, you know, like, and I think I mentioned this in that webinar question that I asked you before, but I'm still getting people reaching out to me. And I know I told you I wanted to shift away from that offer where I'm doing stuff for people for under $1,000, but I mean, I don't want to tell them to like, oh yeah, wait, you know what I mean? Because I could use the cash flow right now as well.
Of course.
So I guess, yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I think right now, don't throw the baby out of the bathwater. If you can get you're getting data. You're getting paid to get data, as opposed to paying to get data. You're getting paid to gather data.
Right.
So take it right now, and use this and share that with us. You know, keep a running list of like, here's the points that people are sharing with me. Wow, I keep seeing this one, because part of the this avatar, and I may actually hold off on this till next week. I was like, defining your ideal client is this exercise that we go through. I think right now I'm going to hold off till next week. I want you guys to do the one question and then go back and get some of these follow-up questions. Start writing down action and use their actual words. If you go to your network and ask the one result question, the goal is to get at least 50 responses. Depending on the size of your network, depending on how responsive you are, you may get those, you may not. You may have to ask it again. It's not going to post it once and expect 50 answers, by the way. You got to post it multiple times. You got to remind them. Sometimes you got to tag somebody. Hey, Mike, what do you think about this? Hey, Mike, I'd love to get your feedback on this. Or like, you can do that at everyone. If that's going to know your group, you can do that. But if you post it, they should get it. If not, if there's a few people you want to get some feedback on, say, hey, at so-and-so, love to get your thoughts on this. Tag 5 or 10 people. Get some of the responses from it. Then write them down on a form and share those with me. But when you share it, though, share here's everything that they said. And then I also want to know, what are you thinking they're saying? Okay. What is it, the why that they're sharing with you? And when you both do that and you get these responses, if there was, again, it could be I threw out a couple of examples for you. The one result on, it could be on the travel piece, it could be on the home repairs, improvements, whatever it might be. Get those responses, because now that is now formulating, and once you get that information, they're already part of your network. You can now speak to that. There's a post, there is a quick video. You're building some, and then you can tag that. You can put it on your thing, and then, hey, at Mike, hey, I just answered that. I just posted something. I thought direct answer to your question. Or, hey, number of you have asked this question, and I thought I'd shoot a quick video to, kind of address that right away. Now, here's the other part. You give them your best information. Give them your best stuff that they would normally even pay you for it. Because the reality is, give them your best, not your half-ass stuff. Give them your best stuff. If they think that, because any one point that is like, wow, that was really valuable, then they engage with you and they pick up a phone or you have a conversation with them, they hire you. There's a lot more that you have. Don't worry about giving your stuff away. Okay. Because if you're giving them your okay stuff, but someone else is giving their best stuff, they're going to go to somebody else. So give them your best stuff, give them your best tips, give them some sites to call, some stuff that they could actually do some of the stuff on their own. Because the reality is they won't. You could literally list out exactly what they need to do to never have to ever call you, Rohit. They won't do it. Or they'll start and they're like, dude, for $1,000, I mean, it's a couple flight savings. It's one international flight saving you can help me with. Dude, walk me through what we need to do here. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the thing we want to start really working with you is a DIY program. Okay.
DIY or DFY?
The DFY costs more. DIY is just a video. Here's all the stuff, $500,000.
Gotcha, okay.
Do, but they don't get you for it. Right now, they're getting you because you're getting some of the things, and I would, again, when you have some extra time, spend time on these other travel sites. See what videos they're talking about. See which videos and which posts are getting all the responses, which ones aren't. That's telling you something. This is what people are actually really interested in. Okay. I forgot there was another site. I couldn't find it. I wrote it down somewhere. It was a site of what people are searching. Okay. Key questions. You put a topic and I'll say, these are the top searches that are coming up right now that people are searching in the last month. Okay. Those are key things. Because again, you're speaking to what your audience is looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's some stuff. And then what we start doing is, okay, you can put a program together. There's other things you can do. You can do a 1-day masterclass. You can do a 3-day challenge. You can do different things, to put this together. And there's a process I can walk you through on that. I'm not going to jump you guys too fast. But I'm letting you know that right now you're in data gathering mode, both of you. And you both are making income while you're gathering data. So that way, with the data spoken directly to what their pain points are, and then the value proposition in their mind just went significantly higher, guess what else can go up? Your freaking pricing. Okay. And then deliver 10 times the value for your price. That's how they're going to come back to you. And once they say yes to you once, they are 74% more likely to come back to you a second time. So whether it be, do you do low ticket, high ticket? I don't know. We'll talk about that, another times, but there are things where you watch what everyone else is doing, find out what they're doing well, find out what they're not doing. And a lot of times what they're not doing, because it's a pain in the ass, whatever, or what they avoid is a lot of what the consumer wishes they would do. So figure out a way to do that without taking a ton of your time, positioning it as a lot of value, solving their problem. Oh, and then, we do these other things too. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's how I got to #1 in the country with enterprise. Was I would talk to all these I used to call these guys, hey, how did you get here? What'd you do here? What did you do there? I saw some trends of what everyone was doing. Okay, these are strategies of success. But I also found a few things they just wouldn't do consistently. And I just did more of it consistently. And eventually over time, that stuff took off. Okay. It doesn't happen overnight. It could be, every Monday morning, I got 10 to 15 passive mailers went out 10 passive mailers went out every single day to my prospects. So they were mailed and some email, right? We also had a special mailer we did every Monday. It was this lemon mailer. It's the craziest thing in the world. Corrugated box that we would have made especially for us. When they were done, they were triangular, cylindrical, but triangle shaped. And then had a stamp on the outside of the box that said, caution, fresh peaches inside. And what we had was this accordion-based flyer in there, and we'd go to the grocery store on Monday mornings, like 6 o'clock, come back in, and we put an actual lemon in this box, because on the covers, like, whoops, this is the last lemon you'll ever receive from Enterprise, and had some marketing stuff there. But you get this friggin' this crazy ass amount. It would cost us like, I don't know, $8 to send every one of these. I sent 10 to 15 every freaking week, because I'm trying to get into owners of companies. Some are bigger, some are small. That got me into Hyatt Corp. Because they're like, what the hell is now? There was one period of time we had to stop this. This is where it shows my age. There's a little thing called 9/11 happened. We had to pause the lemon mailers for a while. That was like corporate-wide. No one sent out these lemon mailers. We're getting complaints because we're worried about bombs showing up and shit. So we're like, all right, pause the lemon mailers. But you know what? We just did it consistent. And you know what? They won't know who the hell I am. So when I picked up the phone, said, yeah, I need to speak to Mike Keith. This is John today. Can I tell you what's this guy? He should know. And they're like, he knows why we're calling, So I'm like, oh, okay, get through the gatekeeper. Like, he asked who you are. Says, oh, I'm the guy that sent him the lemon. Oh, all right, hang on. They go like, yeah, what the hell was this? Got him on the phone, man. That's all I cared about. You know what I mean? So again, have some fun with it. Think outside the box, but you want to know what everyone's doing, but you gotta be unique. And by the way, stay ethically solid. Stay in the lane of integrity. Don't be full of shit. Because whatever you can gain from that, as soon as you're found out, it's going to collapse everything. Don't step out of integrity. Okay. And if I feel you guys might be going that, I'll share with you. Say, hey, watch it. Is that really true? Because that's the biggest complaint people have online is fake fronts, catfish. There's entire shows on this now, right? Because people aren't presenting who they are. So watching your own, and that's why I'll tell you, be careful leaning too far into the lifestyle piece where it comes across as that if it's not true, okay, just be careful with that. That's all I have to say. There's a good way to do it, and you can stay in integrity, get your point across. And not everybody wants 5 stars. Some people would rather have 5 trips than 1 business class, right? But see where your audience takes you. There might be a period of time you're not talking to that 5-trip person. You're talking to the business class or first class person. That's fine. But there isn't a whole other market out there, because I fall more into more with less. I like the nice things, but I'd rather have personally 4 trips for the price of 1 first class trip. Because to me, getting there is one thing. the experiences of being there, that's what I love. I love the experiences, checking all these things out. That means more to me. That's why you mentioned Airbnb versus hotels, and there's all these other things you can look at. Just keep that in mind. That's why I'm saying data collection right now. Okay. All right. Went over. So really what I'd like to do, I was going to show you guys this, but I'm going to hold off on this till next week. It'll be defining your client avatar, really your ideal client. I'm going to quickly just show you a couple things of what this is, but I want for you guys just to think about. Can you guys see it? Did I share it? Nope, share the wrong thing. Hang on.
Oh, saw something.
Here it is. Okay. This is the form here. Okay. It's creating your ideal avatar, going through some steps, different activity, drill for each question, going through things to think about. What kind of clients do I love to work with? What kind of clients are the most lucrative? What kind of the clients am I great at helping? Some of this stuff I'm saying, what causes people to become my clients? And then you start going through and you start circling some of these things to help you kind of really work in. I'm going to hold off on that at this point because I don't think I want to get more of this. Sorry, this is what happens. My camera moves to another window. Work on the one question. I'd like to see those answers. Put them on a form and upload it into Slack. And the sooner you do that, the faster I can get you some feedback. Now, you might need the week. And some of these people, you can keep asking this question, reminding some people for a couple of weeks. Keep adding to it. This is not like a one-time thing. Okay, now I've got it done for the next 3 years. You're going to be adjusting. You guys you're in this phase right now. Okay. And Rohit, what I'd like to see too is break down for me here are the marketing things I currently market to. Here's how often I'm posting or commenting. Here's the number of or how many actual leads I'm getting every week. I like to see that right now. Okay. And then we can chat a bit more about it. All right. So that's it. Any questions on the kind of growth activity this week?
No, although I kind of need to step up my marketing a little bit because I'm just getting back in and, 5 hours a week of work. I need to do more than that. What I did, which put me in a bind actually way back when, but I didn't have a certain amount of control, is I made up poems, like limericks and silly poems about home repair, or jobs I could do, 25 years ago. And it gave me more work than I knew what to do with. So I was thinking about popping some of those. I can't find the old copies. I have to start over from scratch. Okay. But do those on Nextdoor just to kind of broadcast what I do for people. Because also gets people put a smile on their face and they're lighter, usually easier going people, which are better customers.
Okay. Before you do that, jot them down on the form. Let me take a look at them. And then I also want to know, how are you going to position that? What's the hook? Think about interrupt, engage, educate, offer.
Well, it's to see a silly poem is interrupting because people are like, so it's already interrupting and engaging. Not usually as educating, except to educate the things I can do. And then the call to action is, call rent us on. Sometimes I can put it in the poem. Sometimes it just comes in afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Put them on it. Put these thoughts.
I'll put it on. Yeah. Well, okay.
Look at them and how you're going to position them and where.
And I'm just going to put them on Nextdoor for starters.
Maybe.
Because it's
maybe. Yeah, it could be. And I'm not going to say yes or no. Let me just see where you're at. And again, you can try some stuff out. The key is you got to watch being too cutesy, too flashy, too cutesy to this, because you are still a business.
Right. And
where's that balance?
I'm thinking Southwest Airlines.
Yeah, Southwest is going through a lot of challenges too.
Well, they're going through challenges, but that's because new people took over and they kept being cheap and not doing stuff. And it
has more to do with their technology.
I'm thinking Southwest Airlines 1990s when it was fun and you flew and they did silly stuff.
I had a lunch. I was at a luncheon at a leadership conference with Colleen Barrett, who was the CEO at the time. She was the secretary who became the CEO.
Okay. Yep.
And but to your point, Rohit, I think their technology is
well, that's just it. They had these CEOs who just said, well, if we don't update technology, we just keep having profits. Sure. Like when they nailed everybody they bought all that fuel ahead of time and nobody else had, and so they were just undercutting everybody. That was the time to update everything because they could have charged a little more and updated everything and it wouldn't have cost them a thing at the time.
Well, I can play sideline coach on that one, but I'm not in the boardroom with all their information.
Right. No, yeah, it's sort of technology, but their marketing message was fly.
Well, right now, let's focus on our marketing and our companies, and Southwest can do whatever they want to do, and we make enough things. We'll either fly in Southwest or whatever the hell we want. So,
Yep.
All right, listen, guys, put that stuff together. I got to jump. I got a call starting in 3 minutes.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to seeing your stuff. Keep posting. Got any questions on Slack? Shoot me a message. And let's keep this thing rolling. And then next week it should be 1 or 2 more people. So we'll keep those going. And then moving forward, again, as we add more people, I'll do some teaching, and then I'm going to open up one at a time so that we don't bounce around. And I just want to make sure everyone gets the time that they need. And then what we don't cover, they will cover on the Slack channel together. Cool.
Okay.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.